Leaders from nearly 50 European countries are arriving in the Spanish city of Granada this hour for a summit aimed at easing tensions and conflicts on the continent. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is taking part, looking, of course, for continued support in the war against Russia. Mediation between Azerbaijan and Armenia was also meant to take place regarding the conflict over the Karabakh region, but hopes of calming tensions have faded after Azerbaijan's president confirmed he was skipping the meeting. Also high on the agenda is the issue of migration from North Africa. Countries have been at odds over how best to reform policy to deal with surging numbers of asylum seekers. Well, our correspondent Sonia Gallego is in Granada, Spain for us. Sonia, so the war in Ukraine will once again dominate the European agenda. What are they expected to focus on, though?
Well, certainly that seemed to confirm with the arrival of Volodymyr Zelensky this morning, announcing that he had arrived in Granada. And of course, what is uppermost on his mind is trying to get that Black Sea region secured as much as possible, because as he says, it is absolutely vital to maintain global food security, that key chain of the Ukrainian food products that needs to make its way out safely out of that region. Of course, you remember that Russia pulled out of that grain deal, and Ukraine has been operating a humanitarian corridor to be able to get the grain out of there to prevent a food crisis from occurring as the winter draws near. With this in mind as well, the other issue that is possibly going to be spoken of in terms of Ukraine is the enlargement of the European Union. Now, this has been spearheaded by France and Germany, albeit in a very cautious way as well. There is no timetable really that has been set in stone for this, and there is a lot of caution in terms of how it's going to be done and how all EU members are going to agree exactly the accountability process and the reforms that need to take place in order for this to happen. But as of yet, there appears to be little enthusiasm for this as of yet.
And Sonia, migration is the other issue that European countries constantly have on their minds. Is there anything specific we're expecting to hear or for them to discuss that will be concrete out of this discussion?
Well, the purpose of the European political community is the fact that it's going to enable non-EU countries, regional partners, to be able to discuss these issues and to contribute to what the challenges are in the region. So you have the British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak here. He is going to be conducting talks, a roundtable with Italy's Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni on the ongoing challenges. Of course, Meloni herself has been extremely vocal on the toll that undocumented migrants, especially coming from the North African coast in droves recently, and the spike in numbers that Italy has to contend with. She has been calling on the European Union to make a deal, and of course there was that deal announced on Wednesday. The Spanish government, whose presidency holds the presidency of the European Union currently, has said that a deal was being fashioned in order to try and more fairly share out the burden of undocumented migrants coming on very dangerous journeys which have been organized by illegal smuggling rings. This is a key issue that certainly the British Prime Minister has been speaking on, and other European leaders, to try and clamp down on these smuggling rings. But of course, whether it's actually going to be possible to come to a cohesive conclusion to this still it has yet to be considered. Of course, as the day goes on, we'll find out more about the effect of those roundtable talks.
Thank you for that. Sonia Gallego there for us in Granada.